Welcome to the next part in my series where I'm building out this front-end mentor project. If you haven't been following along so far, I'd recommend you start from the beginning, but if you just want to focus on this video, you can follow the link down below to the GitHub repo, which will get you to these files where you just need to run an npm install, and once the npm install is finished, we just need to do an npm run dev, and everything should be ready to go. There we go, perfect. We're exactly where we left off now. And we're focusing on the slider section now, which is probably a video that people have been waiting for me to do for a while. And hopefully I'm not going to disappoint, but we're not going to be doing this one from scratch, but I'll explain why. We're going to use a library I've never used before, so it still will be a learning experience. Let's pull over what we're actually going to be using, which is this A11Y slider. And the reason I'm going to be using this one is it pretty much does exactly what we need it to do, but it is accessible. And making an accessible slider can be really, really hard, or carousel, or whatever you want to call it, but it's not easy to do it properly. And when you have solutions that are put in place that are handling it for us, and we can take it and maybe make some small modifications to make it fit what we need, that's what I'm going to do. So hopefully we can get what we need. And I think we sort of need... You can see how there's these different versions. We have a single item, not what we want. We do want multiple items. Actually, this might be the closest one to what we need. It looks like it's easy to modify, so I'm hoping. I've never touched this one before though, but it looks like it's relatively easy to do different things with it and to modify things. So we're gonna try it out and see how it works. So let's get this up and running and we'll try it out. Did I go too far? Source code. Is it an about? There we go. Okay, so we can do an npm install. Let's just do it the easy way for now. We're going to grab this in the head. And we could probably actually... Oh, that's my CSS that's coming in for that. Do we need the CSS? I wonder. And then at the end of the body, I'm not going to put it at the end of the body. I'm actually going to put it at the top. But we're just going to add in a defer here. So... that just makes it easier to keep everything all in one spot. What is their CSS? I'm just curious what comes with this. And actually, I see one other thing. Okay, there is a few little things in here that we want to do. So the style, the // here will work, but in general, I've read that it's best to always actually include it because you can run into issues if you're on an insecure site. It's meant to, from what I understand, if you're on like a regular HTTP, it'd go to the regular HTTP, but I know it's today, so I'm going to do it like this anyway, and hopefully we don't run into any issues. And then it shows us how we can use it. So let's grab this and put that into our style. So let's just come right here and put in slider and put that so we have something. And it says that it works. You can generate a slider by creating an overflowed container and then setting widths via CSS. And media queries we can also do. So let's add this in. We want this, I think I put carousel. Carousel here. Let's just drop this here. Let's go take a look. It did it. It's working because we have a slider. That's so cool. Okay, that was easy. So let's start by first bringing in the content that we need, and then I guess we'll figure out how we can manage it to look the way we need it to, but that was insanely easy. Okay, so at small screen sizes, we only see 1, and then at big screen sizes, we see up to 3. So let's just come on one of these. I'll do one of them, the markup for one, and then you guys can figure out, I'll copy and paste to make it go a bit faster. So let's do Ali Bravo here. So on each LI, we have an image. Ooh, see the background there? There's a few different ways we could do that. I'm just thinking like, the image is basically going to be position absolute, I guess. So let's just say in the LI, we do have an image, which I guess would be images, avatar Ali. It's decorative, I think, because I'm going to consider that, I don't know. Anyway, what they've said, I'm guessing was my H2. So here will be my H3 that has a font weight of bold. And Ali Bravo. And then we have a paragraph of paragraph. And I guess I can just copy and paste this. The other thing I just noticed, everything in here does seem to be centered. So let's just do a text center, which I created in the last video. I'm putting it on the UL. If you're using something where, you know, it could be something on the LI as well. I just don't want to repeat it. If you're not creating, you know, if you're doing something that's a bit more dynamic than static HTML, then obviously putting it on the LI would be fine, but we can put it here. I could probably put it on the entire section, actually. Let's just do that. Carousel, padding block, and there we go. Just to make sure this is also centered. The button hopefully gets centered at the same time. Yeah, so that actually should be what we need for there. So let's get it actually looking the way we need it to. So right away, I see a problem with Figma being that we don't have we need it to be bigger. So on my paragraph, we do have that data width is equal to wide, I believe. There we go. So we get the width on there that we need. And let's just do this on the slider stuff now. So here's my slider. So slider, those are my LIs. I'm going to do it a bit more. We could style it right here. Let's see what happens. Background is going to be var color neutral. I only have 100 or 900. We're going to do 200 and go create a color that's that really light gray. So this can be 200, and then this will be at like a 95 probably. Maybe even 97. Looks pretty good. I could color pick it and get the exact color, but there we go. Perfect. So next up, what do we want to do? We need, that isn't terrible. So next, we need we have a border radius on these. So that, I was putting that here. So here we can say border radius of var size 300. It looks pretty small. So I'll start with that. Once we get more of them, we can sort of see. This is also, slider is a list style of none because I don't want to have the dots that were showing up. Now the image, so let's come here, we'll say the slider image is going to be a width. I don't normally use width, but in this case for stuff, people, you know, I always say that, so then sometimes people sort of say, Kevin, you say never to use widths. But width makes sense for this because it's a small image. And as I said, I'm going to use position absolute on there. And the reason I'm doing this is just to make it easy to pull it out of the flow and have it stick out the top, basically. So position absolute, top of 50% and a left of 50%. And then we do the transform. Or, you know what I've would this work? Let's see. Inset of 0, margin inline of auto. And then a top of negative 50%. We still need the 50% trick. Position absolute on that. So here we do need to say position relative, which should bring my image back. -1 rem, so it's there. Negative 50%. Where's it going? Where is it going? Where? Slide. Oh, ooh, that should work. 1 second. 1 second here. So we have my image. Slider. So this should be position relative. Position relative is here. Position. I didn't misspell it. And then this is a position absolute. Oh, why? Was I just not seeing it? And I was just, okay, whatever. I don't know. That was strange, but there is the image. So top negative 50%, and then we do a transform translate negative 50%, translate XY. We're going to fix this in a second. Let's also come on the slider. I'm just going to add some padding on the whole thing. Padding var size 700. This should probably be padding block, right? I see some problems happening. What is setting the height of this? Because it seemed to be working really well. Oh, the element height. Why? Style. So it's getting a default height set to it that seems to be required. So the plugin's giving it a height of 90 pixels. Okay, so this padding I'll take off. We need padding here anyway, so let's start here and then we'll figure out that other issue. So padding, the top we'll do var size 900. Left and right and bottom will be var size 400. Why is it still getting that weird? Oh, okay, so the full refresh fixed it. So that looks a little bit better, but this, I'm actually going to boost these up to 6s. And then refresh the page, because I think it needs that for the slider. Okay, so I'm just looking here at the spacing. It looks pretty good. Obviously, the picture is in completely the wrong place, though. Let's turn that off for a second. There's an overflow of hidden. I think that's part of the problem. Top negative 50%. No, I'm sure. I feel like I'm... Okay, let's try not with the instead of 0. Let's just say that it's a top and a left of... No, it should be top 50%, 50%, and then this is a translate of negative 50%, negative 50%. I haven't done this in a while. What is going on? Top negative 50. Where's my image? My image apparently has vanished. It's all the way somewhere there. So what I'm going to do is, I know you can't see exactly what I'm doing, but we have that overflow hidden that's coming in from their default CSS, and I'm just turning off the default overflow that's on there to try and find my image. What the top 50% should be doing, see the negative 50% here, I don't get why it's going up so high. So whatever, let's just say, let's do my instead of 0 again, instead of 0. And then here, let's just say, I did give the image a width of that. So the top is that calc, divide by 2. No, that's still not going to work. I just have to magic number this one. I'm not sure. Negative 100 pixels, just to see where that goes. I would really appreciate a comment if anyone knows what the heck I did wrong on this one. Because I don't quite get why that's a problem. Or why why this problem's happening. But there we go. That's looking pretty good. So what I'm going to do is fill out these next few slides, and then we'll figure out how we can actually get this working properly. All right, there we go. It is all set up. We have the 4 people coming in. We obviously have some issues. So let's come back to here. So we have display flex. So I'm just going to do a gap of var size 600. It looks pretty big. I think my border radius is actually too big. I thought it would be not big enough, but we can fix my border radius to reduce it a little bit. Is there even a border radius? I think it's a small one on there. So there we go. And now we need, oh, I broke something because we have some side scrolling going on, which is interesting because I thought the whole point of this slider was to prevent that, but let's find out now. So on these width, let's set this to like 400 pixels, and I'm just curious. I've done something that has broken the entire slider. Oh, and now it's fixed. Okay, there we go. I just refreshed the page and it came back on. So we can see that it's working, but we obviously have an issue. I think part of the issue that's happening right now is we had to have, for the slider to work, it needs to have an overflow hidden on it. So if we come and take a look, because we're using scroll snapping, and part of, you want things to slide around. So it's injecting this. Let's find out where the overflow hidden is, which I think is on the slider itself. Yeah. So that's getting the overflow hidden on it. Which means this is just with the, I'm trying to think. Okay, we're going to change things a little bit. I think instead of doing what I did, which I think would have worked fine, we're going to keep the image in the DOM. So to do that on all of these, let's do it all at the same time. Except I don't want to be there. I want to be here. Let's turn word wrap on for a second, just to make this a little bit easier. So we want to select all of you. We want to select, so I'm just going to push Alt and then Shift, not Alt and Shift, Kevin. We want to select all of you, and then I'm going to push Alt and select all of you, and then select all of you, and select all of you. And we're going to do, I have a shortcut. So I think it's Control Shift P and then Emmet. And then you can do, so we want to wrap those in a div, and we're going to call that div slider content. Slider, yeah, that's fine. So slider content. So by doing that, we can take the background, the width I'm going to leave on there. We're going to take this off, and we're going to do that slider content. Is going to have those on it. So that looks a little bit better. This padding, I think, is also going to come onto here. That looks a little more, well, more. It's exactly where we left off, basically. And then this image, which was position absolute, let's just take that off and see what happens. Cool. So we'll do a position relative, and then we can say top is negative 50%. 50%. And now my 50% is actually working, right? And this top can be taken off. So top 50%, whoa, why is it so much? 25. 0. Oh, right, it's there. Okay, let's just do top of var size 400. So actually, let's just see, calc. Divide by 2 and make this the 800. Does that work? That works. Okay, so this is what I was trying before. I'm taking the width 800 and I'm dividing it by 2, so that's also the height, so it's moving it down by what we needed. And I can shrink this padding down slightly. Oh, I just realized all of these also should have, let's just refresh to see how that's looking now. Cool, good. I'm a bit happier with that now. The colors I know are off for the text. I just remembered, okay, let's not talk about that. For each one of these, my slider content, what I should have done on all of them, so while we're here, we can come on all of them, put a pipe character, and what I'm going to do is add the flow class, so we can add some spacing, and then style is equal to flow spacer, I should have one rem should be okay. And while we're there, we can also do a style is equal to flow spacer 1 rem, which didn't work. Hyphen would help. There we go. It worked there. Oh, no. Oh, when I fixed it, I only fixed it on one of them. Whoops. There we go. I feel like... There we go. We're better. We're back. And it's working. Fantastic. So that's better. So let's get these widths and everything set up. Now, one thing I have realized with this slider that I didn't quite realize is I don't think we're going to get this style in there. Now, maybe there's a way that we can do that. But let's start off by setting up the sizes for mobile. So for mobile, or do we want to... okay, so let's go to the main.js and bring that in and see if that, I don't know if it'll change anything. Refresh, we're there. What if I put this to false just for fun? I don't see a difference. So here dots, let's put the, let's undo that. Let's just put this option to true and just see what it gives us. Aha, so there's the dots. We actually have to style the dots ourselves. That's interesting. I thought we'd have a little bit more done, but that's okay. We're gonna go steal from the examples that they're giving us. The other thing, so if I go to next, I sort of want it to focus on the center one. Let's go and steal some of the stuff they have here set up, because this is sort of what I want to have, right? That's fine. I don't mind that behavior. It's interesting that they're getting dots there. Anyway, we'll look into that in a second. Slide. Oh wait, you can do slides to show. Can I do like a 2.5? So yeah, this is sort of what I was thinking we would do. So, okay. I was thinking we could do it. So slider here. So the width here, 33. Let's just do like a 40% and see what that looks like. Oh, that's the adaptive height. Aha. So we don't really want adaptive height, right? What if I do false? I'm not sure. We'll have to read the docs to see what the adaptive height is, because right now we're getting two different ones. But obviously it depends on the size of the screen. Maybe that's okay though. Maybe we'll leave it like that. The main thing I wish is that this would actually line up in the center, and we're gonna have to see. I think there's a way of it's using scroll snap though, and we're also not able to get all the way to that last one. We only have moved item 1, moved item 2. Did I muck things up in here? Li, Li. Li, Li. If I do this at 100%, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's working. It's weird that here we only have 2. I don't get why we're not getting more of those. Ah, interesting. Some interesting things happening here, but we'll figure it out. But basically we want to do that. And so let's see how this is going to work. We're going to take this and copy it and then do that at media, min width of, let's do our 30M like we used for something else, and say that the width is going to become a 50%, so we can see 2 of them. And then when we get to our 50, this can drop down to like a 37% or something. So we get that spillover effect a little bit like they're doing. And so let's open our dev tools, and responsive mode is on. So here we get like 3 of them. It drops down to 2 of them, but it still has that like overflow effect. And then we get down to 1, and then we go through the different ones. So that's a start. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Let's see what else we can glean from here. Oh, good. Okay, so responsive. We can do some stuff here too, which is perfect, because if we want to follow what they gave us in the Figma, by default, there's actually nothing that's indicating, which I find weird. We should have my buttons. We're going to find a way to do that. But here we have the dots, and then here we don't have the dots. So it looks like that's actually easy. So dots in here, we're going to say dots are true, but then bring in this responsive stuff. Oh, we have arrows too. Okay, let's keep, we don't need that. Slider disabled, which we obviously don't want to do that. Disabled off, slides to show off, but dots false is basically what we want to do. Now the only problem is our breakpoint is probably wrong. So this is at 50M, right? So we can just do that really fast. This is at 800 pixels. We're going to do that, 800. So at this screen size, we don't have any. But then when we get to a small enough size, the dots come in. Now I don't get why we only have 3. And then at the smallest size, we get 4. I guess the way the way it's being calculated is like we have 1, which is these 2. 2 is that, and then 3 is going to that, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I think then what we'll do is actually bring this down to the other breakpoint, which would be a 480. Okay, so we're going to do it that way because I think it's easier if you just have the next slide, previous slide, and then the dots actually show up when we're at the smallest size. I think that makes more sense. Let's look up scroll snap for a second. Scroll snap padding, isn't it? Scroll snap padding? Scroll padding? Scroll padding. Scroll padding. I'm wondering, I'm going to try something here. Back in the CSS, slider, scroll padding, 200 pixels. Scroll margin. It is. Okay, so I knew I could do something with it. So you can see here. Okay, so here we're at the first slide. Then you see how it's going past where we were? It's just how this slider is working. I mean, that's not terrible, I guess. It's not doing what I thought it was, is it? Let's turn that off. Oh yeah, okay. You see how now we get it where it's like lining up perfectly with the side here? And if I put that scroll margin on, it means that when it goes, we have that. So what if I did negative 200 just for fun? The negative 200 means I can never access the first one. So let's just do 100 pixels. Oh, that's bad. We're still never getting all the way there. 1 second. Refresh. That's awkward because we're sort of, no, okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to try. We're not going to get that to work. C'est la vie. Okay, so here we do have those. Now let's go and see why. So we have responsive, disable, center. Oh, center mode. Experimental makes the center. Oh my goodness. This is why you need to read documentation when you're playing with stuff. Center mode. Let's try it. It says it's experimental, but we might as well try it. Center mode. True. Fingers crossed. It worked. No. Let's get 1 second. I think it's trying. Okay, let's hear. I'm going to change my width here from the 37. Let's just do 45. And let's refresh the page. That's the first slide, which it can't do centered because it's the first one. Then next. It's the way it's also calculating these slides a little bit. It's like setting this up as an individual. The way it's figuring out the slides is kind of interesting, but let's just see if I can do container, adds a container, that I don't mind. Enables, that's fine. Previous button to trigger generates one by default can be, that's okay. Next, dots. Height of the slider changes according to each slide's height, that's fine. Skip button, adds a skip button before the slider. That's already on. We don't see it. That's fine. Slides to show. Autoplay we don't want. That's fine. Autoplay. The infinite is just what's making it like go back to the start. Disable means don't do it. Custom paging. Define your own custom dot template. Enable swiping. That's already on. Okay. So the way this is working is it's treating this almost like one slide, which is a bit of a shame. And that's why we were getting like 2 buttons down at the bottom, is how it's working. So we just sort of have to work around that. So what if I did like 28% even? And then I feel like the infinite slider is not working right now either. Because 33 we generally don't want. 35. Something funky happening with the buttons, but okay, it looks like it's fixed now. Okay. Anyway, I think we'll live with it like this. We're trying something new. Maybe we'll switch out. I was hoping this would work a little bit better, but I didn't realize it was using scroll snap. So there is some limitations on what scroll snap can do at the same time. What we will do on the slider itself, I hope this doesn't break anything. Let's do a padding inline of var container padding, because I changed the name, container padding. That didn't seem to do anything. Let's just put a number here. Oh, it's always lining up on the left here. Ideally, it wouldn't be touching the side of the screen. Oh wait, we had the container that was being generated, right? So we can't see it here. So this is one of the problems when you're using things like this. It's generating, like it's inserting some stuff in the DOM, but we can use that. Here it was the ally slider container, which is I think what we actually want to be using. And it's not in our markup, so we can't access it, but we can access it here. So let's do that, put a dot in the front of it, and then say max width is 60 rem, margin inline auto, and a padding of just 2 rem for now. Oh no! Next slide. This is not what we wanted. Oh, you know what though? In Figma, it does go side to side, so maybe it's okay. Okay. It's okay, it's okay. The one thing I will do actually, let's bring this back. Instead of that, I'm going to say it has a margin block of var size 700 maybe? Just so we get a bit of spacing that we need. Perfect. What they've said, yeah, okay, perfect. That looks good. And the arrows, we're going to figure out something to do, but for these, interesting that the CSS isn't applying. Ally slider, no, end of carousel dots. let's just, they look pretty good. So I might make some small changes to these. But let's come in and let's actually bring this after the slide, slider content, slider image, slider dots, and see. That was only at small screen sizes though, right? Let's shrink that down so we get the dots. They're there. Move to slide. Let's come and take it just a look. And how did it do it here? Oh, see what they did? See, this is, I thought we brought their CSS in. I just assumed that like some of the stuff on their CSS is definitely coming in. You would have thought that this would also be part of their CSS, or there's something getting in the way. Let me just double check. So this is in mine here. No, there's nothing. Ally slider.li. There's nothing coming in. So I would have thought some of this would have sort of been default styling that you can override, but c'est la vie. Let's just come in and add that. So now we get more of actual dots, and then the ally slider dots, I'm guessing here that we can say this and say that it's a display flex. There we go. Display block, width, height, padding, color. Color won't change too much. That's good. Width, height, padding, display flex. Oh, the margin. I'm actually gonna take the margin off and then do that as a gap here. Gap of var size 300. Let's go see what the design actually wants these to look like, because the colors are obviously very different. So the .li, the border is var color accent. Uh, 400 solid. Whoops. Let's just come here. 1 pixel solid. What am I looking at there? 1 second. Display block, da 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 da. Oh, it's a text indent, so we still see the button. Oh, I get it. I misread that when I looked at that. So the border, we don't need this here. Get that out of there. Here we want 1 pixel solid var color accent 400. And I keep closing my dev tools when I don't mean to. There we go. That looks better. And then the background on this, background transparent. Much better. These dots, display flex, margin. Let's just do var size 500, and that's top and bottom, and then we can do an auto for the left and the right. The auto didn't work. So that doesn't really matter then. So this is a margin block for the top and the bottom, and then here we can do an align. No, justify content center. Perfect. Good, good. These I'm actually going to change to 2 pixels because they look can we do a 1.5? Or is that the same as a 1? Same thing. So we'll do the 1. And then let's go to the first slide and then inspect it. Because that first one should be getting... There should be something that's like saying which one is the active slide. No, let's go to the third slide. I don't see anything in the DOM actually being manipulated. how do we know which one we're on? See, that's kind of interesting. Here I'm getting a class of active on the button, but in mine, oh, there is the class active. Okay, perfect. I was looking for it on the li and not on the button itself. So that just means we can take this same selector, come down here, and when it's active, the background is var color accent. Super duper. Those are working. We actually, I just realized something. Let's come to here. Responsive, I forget what it was called, arrows, I think, right? So we're gonna say arrows false. And then responsive 480 dots false and arrows true. Now the interesting thing with this is we don't have anything in the design. I'm coming up with what these arrows are going to look like. So I was going to use the previous slide and next slide is being inserted with their JS. This is for accessibility reasons that they're doing it. Okay, let's try something. Just because we're going to use that same trick with the text indent, I think, on the buttons. I just want to get the clap button. So this is my slide previous and slide next. Okay, so we'll come back to my CSS. Let's just do text indent to use that same trick. Indent. So it's pretty much vanishes. Now what I don't know, because I have a text indent here, let's throw a position relative on here. And let's come in with an A11Y slider previous, before, after. We'll do an after. Content is going to be test. So that's what I was wondering, is if the content would actually show up or not, but I think the text indent is sort of doing that thing where it's just vanishing away. Because if I turn off the text indent, we should see test showing up there. Previous slide, test. Okay, so that means this then, if we do this as a position absolute, what happens? Oh, but there must be an overflow of hidden on these. I don't use text indents very often for hiding stuff. So I'm just looking through if there's anything coming on this, but I don't see anything that would be hiding it. Left of 0, top of 0. So let's see where it is. So let's refresh the page just to make sure we're there. We're going to select that. And then what we can do is I hover on top of, oh, so it's saying it's 0 width. So let's just give this a width. Width 100 pixels. And height 100 pixels. Okay, so that didn't fix it. Just for fun then, display block. So in my button, my after, it's saying it's there, we just can't see it. Do they have any examples here where they're using arrows though? Oh, they did it like, next slide and previous slide, that's their arrows. Is there an example where the text in there is different? So I think we're sort of stuck using these. So we're going to figure out the best way we can style it. Maybe I'm missing something on what I could be doing instead. I mean, I could use JavaScript, I guess, to actually change the content, but I don't really want to do that because there's a reason we have this content. For accessibility reasons. Right? So I'm just trying to think if there's, unless, I mean, one option I could do actually here, color transparent, and then color black. You know, this is previous slide, so like we could put an SVG in here or something too, and then use positioning. It's just going to be, I think, oh wait, let's say I did that just for fun, and then I did a position. Oh no, no, it's not going to work. I was hoping I could select the text. Okay, if we could select the text and not the after, and I could do a position absolute, but that wouldn't work. Okay, you know what I'm at? I'm doing all this work to try and get this to work, and it's actually departing away from the design. I don't like the idea of having no arrows, to be honest with you, just because I feel like people won't necessarily, if you're on mobile, it's easy to scroll these, and I can just click and drag to scroll it. Maybe we autoplay it. I don't like autoplaying, so I don't know what the best solution is, honestly. So if you have any suggestions on the fixing up video, maybe I'll approach this and do something else with it. But look, it works. And we have at smaller sizes, it is coming in and it is doing what we need it to do, where we have the different things that we can click to go between them. One thing I just realized is at small sizes. So let's go find this one. No, here we'll say margin of 0 and var size 400. No, we're not getting anything on them. On the container, margin inline, we'll do that. So when it's one at a time, we have it like that, which is what the design is showing us. If we look here, you can see that there's some space there. And then when we get to, let's just copy all of you, at this size, this becomes a 0, and this we can turn off. So then when we get to that, now it actually bleeds off the side instead of having that weird gappy thing that we were getting. I'm gonna try slider, container, scroll, padding, inline. I feel like there should be a way to keep stuff from being right on the edge that we're not getting, which is very frustrating. Oh, it was padding. Oh my God, Kevin, we solved it. So it can still bleed off the side now. It doesn't do it on the first one, which I thought it would, but you can see here it's actually stopping when we get to here. And then this one's stopping when we get to there. So we can still move it around. That's fine. At the smaller sizes, we don't want that because then we get this weird thing. That's on my slider. Refresh. No? Why? Oh yeah, okay, so we're good. Oh, we have a problem here. We're at really small sizes though. We're okay. We're okay. That's okay. And then we get to this, and then we sort of get that padding that allows us on the sides. And just for fun, why doesn't... I thought we could build in a bit of a space on that first one and the last one, but I know the design, well, the design itself starts as centered like that, which we can't do with the first one. Okay, I'm going to leave it like this. We don't need this. Somewhat happy with that. I think there's a little bit of fixing up that we could do to improve it, but overall it's pretty close. It's working, and I'm pretty happy with it. Some stuff is broken in the meantime with my logo there. Oh, I know what I did to my logo. So that's not a problem with the logo. I'll fix that. That was my fault. We have this. We have some problems that need fixing, and I thought this stayed there. Anyway, we're getting to the fixing up video, which actually I think is going to be the next one, because there's a bunch of fixing up on stuff that we need to do, reordering stuff. We might have 2 fixing up videos, because I have a feeling there's going to be a lot, and then we'll probably be pretty close to being done. So yeah, I'll fix my logo in the meantime, because I had some Git issues at one point when I was downloading stuff from repos. But thank you once again for following along. I hope you're enjoying this series, even if I'm muddling my way through it a little bit. And of course, until next time, don't forget to make your corner of the internet just a little bit more awesome.